Hello, everyone. Welcome to Industry Ethos, the podcast where we talk to builders, industrialists, and the founders who are reshaping factories with technology. I'm Eren, your host, and today we got Zane, a founder of Nox Metals and one of the most interesting industrial builders I have ever met so far. And he's not just running a metal supply business, he is actually what it feels like building an operating system for metal distribution in North America. And today we will be talking about factories, automation, AI, and what it actually takes to rebuild supply chain from scratch. So I want to get into it, Zane. First of all, welcome. I'll say that you got the coolest background ever I've seen so far. So that's great. So can you start with, like, for those people who don't know Nox, what is really Nox and what do you guys do? Like, are you a metal supplier, a platform, or something bigger?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me. I think this podcast is really important as well. So wish you the best of luck there. What Nox Metals is building the modern metal service center. So we want to leverage technology, mainly software and automation, to lower the cost of metals for America's industrial base and basically increase the speed to a factory.
I see, yeah. And like, what actually makes Nox Metal different from every other metal supplier? Like, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so I guess what makes it different is it's mainly a technology company, not a metal company. We're a technology company that happens to cut and sell metal. Basically, what we want to do is build software and build automations that allow us to reduce overhead and increase throughput. Like, that's really the secret sauce. So it looks like collecting a lot of data, using that data, and essentially passing on that surplus to America's industrial base.
I see. So, like, what is the current ecosystem looking like for a traditional metal supplier? Like, are they going through, like, from emails to orders, or what's the situation like?
Yeah, it's mainly emails and phone calls. I think emails and phone calls as a problem is a bit overrated. Like, I actually don't think they're the end of the world. What I think is more important is, like, how do you optimize, like, procurement, inventory management, scheduling, instant quoting and estimating. So when someone does call, you can give them a quote right away. I'm actually a big believer in relationships. I believe someone should call me and say, "Hey, I'm going to spend $1 million with you. I want to know my
Yeah,
price is good." But what's more important is on our back end how we can quickly estimate for them and give them a price so they can move forward.
I see. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, in terms of, you mentioned, like, you guys are going to be building like automations, workflows in like managing your day-to-day operations. But I was thinking about it, like, you can build automations for your own self. You can automate whatever you do, but how will you guys be integrating like third party, for example, like logistics, because you still rely on them, right?
Yeah, for us, like on the logistics front, I guess I was thinking about how to answer that question because there's a lot of ways too. But like from a logistics standpoint, there's like three things we'll do. We'll leverage like the best carrier possible to get the lowest
Mhm.
rates and the fastest shipping time.
Yeah.
Two, people can actually come to our factory, pick it up. You can actually drive in and out of this location directly,
Okay.
and that crane will drop off metal onto your truck.
Yeah.
Or there's load level docks, or we have our own trucks that will ship to you. So it's a
I
mix of
see.
three things. It's kind of whatever is preferred from the customer perspective. We just give them the three cost options.
I see. And what is the current like average lead time per order? I know you cannot maybe answer it right away, but for example, traditional metal suppliers lead time, and what would be yours?
Yeah, it's actually hard to say because every metal's so different. So if you're ordering 6061, which is like the Ford F-150
Mhm.
of metals, like
Yeah.
you can probably get that in like, it really depends on the supplier and the time of year. Like, I think if you had to take like a really wide average, again, this is like, it's so wide, you're probably on, like, again, this is plate, maybe about 6 or 7 days, and we're hoping to be 24 hours. And it's an average. On sheet metal, you get it quicker. Tube might be different, but like on average, we hope to be 5 times faster and
5 times
significantly
faster.
cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But how is that possible with just maybe, for example, like building automations and like, are you guys actually building physical automations, robotics as well?
Yeah, a ton of robotics. So like what you'll see here in a few years will be like these towers of inventory that basically automatically take the inventory out of the shelves, put it onto a saw, cut it automatically, unload it, and then package the material automatically with the mix of automations and then like also software. So like, I think there's a good use case for like, okay, we're probably building like 6 or 7 internal software companies and then just
Hmm.
supplying them to our shop.
Yeah.
Um, Everything, like, there's not one secret sauce. Like, people always ask us like, oh, what technology are you inventing? It's like, actually what we're inventing is like this factory that there's multiple things that make it run. So like if you look like at an existing incumbent, they might have 200 people in each department between inventory, purchasing, estimating, all this stuff. We want to have a really lean team that basically has data and software to make those decisions quickly. These people that exist in these organizations are like really smart, have a ton of tribal knowledge, and have been doing it for 20 years. We're gonna lose those people, and also like hate to use the buzzword, but like AI will allow us to like do that much faster and much more accurately.
I see. Yeah. And also, like you mentioned that you guys gonna building like a racking system that automatically like feeds you to your like cutting stations, or but why just build it for yourself instead of selling them? I think that would be the very generic questions that the VCs ask you a lot.
Yeah.
Why?
So the racking automation systems you can get from integrators. So you're basically building a custom solution with your engineering team, but like it's being manufactured by someone and being programmed by someone. I mean, we'll write program on it too, but like I guess the reason to build it internally is because like say you sell this to one or two people. Actually getting the buy-in from their team is like really difficult to do. And also you're going to go in and like you need to control every single part of your factory to get the throughput and cost reduction. Say you can't control a health and safety measure, or you can't control certain material, or you can't tell your person, hey, get that faster. Like you really just need like it's hard to explain. You really just need full control to like move things faster. So like that's the way I look at it, at least.
I see. Yeah. And also, like, just want to get into it. Are you guys like currently, you guys are changing the metal industry? That's what I see. And what is the current ecosystem like in the US for metal supplies? Like, are current metal suppliers are old schooled? Are they looking to change, or what are they like mindset right now?
Yeah, I don't want to knock on metal suppliers because I actually think they're incredible businesses. I think the people that started them are like really smart and like doing really good things. I think based on my conversations with them, there's just been like an inability to innovate on the technology front. One, it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but like a bit because of culture. I think that's underrated. But two, like getting implementation from their team. So if you have 3,500 employees and, you know, 50 to 100 locations, how do you actually implement software and get buy-in from the team? So to answer your question, I think this inability to innovate is bad for the US manufacturing base. I think these companies will get there. I think there's room for everyone. There's a really good quote from one of my friends in Tennessee. It says pigs eat, hogs get slaughtered. And like, we think there's enough food on the table for everyone to work. We just want to support every factory in America by increasing their margins with cheaper, same or better quality material and insanely fast speeds.
Yeah, but what do you think about the recent tariffs? Like, do you think that would change like their inability to innovate?
It's a good question. Like multiple ways to look at it. I think probably their ability to innovate, like to answer your question directly, I think it would inhibit their ability to innovate. And when I say innovate, basically, I think I'm a believer that if you have higher margins, you can innovate more. So
Mhm.
if your metal's more expensive, you can innovate less. Have increased the cost of metals, but they have protected domestic manufacturing, and there has been a bit of a resurgence there. I guess I don't know if we have enough data to say that yet. I'm back and forth on tariffs, to be honest. We're really focused on our business and what we can control.
And like, what is the current ecosystem for like suppliers in the US? Like, is there a monopoly there, or what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm sure you saw my tweet about this recently, but we have been talking about so basically we buy from mills and supply factories. We're kind of a middleman in a way, but we actually do a lot of value add like saw cutting and light machining and like inventory holding and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think about what I can say, to be honest. I wouldn't know if I'd call it a monopoly. It's so capex intensive that like few can do it. So like there's not a lot of players. They do not sell to a lot of people. The reason why, to be debated. I could probably talk about it for 8 hours. Um, what I think is like more important to talk there, like there should be more mills. I think there should be more producers of like domestic metals, mainly steel and aluminum in the US. And I think that comes from policy. I think it comes from innovation. I think it comes from technology. I think it comes from potentially startups. Keep in mind, to start a mill, you need probably $250 to $3 billion.
Oh my God, that's a
I
lot.
think there's some people that disagree with me on that, but like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
always start smaller.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of investment right there. But in terms of like to get into your day-to-day operations, like what is the hardest operational problem you're still solving day to day? Yeah.
Operationally, I'm just looking at the factory. Or maybe I think procurement's still tough. I think getting your hands on material and being able to sell it. Like I always say, like selling metals is 10 times easier than buying it. I think that's still a challenge that people face in America. I mean, if I wanted to buy material from China, I could probably have a full factory floor of it tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but in like 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, just like being able to buy domestic or DeFars materials is really hard. And I think that's a challenge we're going to face. But like the way we're trying to overcome it is basically three things. One, building good relationships. Two, building software that allows us to procure very smartly. And three, working with stakeholders in the industry.
I see. Yeah. So I got my next question here. Like, I think I know the answer already, but I'm going to ask you still. Like, what bottleneck defines your business right now? Like, is it people, material, or software? But is it be material?
Yeah, I think if you asked me this question a year, I'd have a totally different answer. But today, in 2025, it's material.
I see.
And let me not get that too wrong. Like we do have access to material. We have been selling, and we can sell right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting access to the full inventory that America's factories require is a huge challenge.
Is it because there's a lot of like queue for like back orders for this mills, or why is that?
There's many reasons. One of the reasons is there's back orders. The rest I can't really talk about, to be honest. But that's one of the reasons.
That's interesting. Yeah. And like, if you guys fully automate Nox right now, what would humans still do? Like that machines can.
Yeah, so humans would still make a lot of the decisions, or essentially write a lot of software that allows our technology to make decisions. Humans would still have to load the actual inventory system. They'd have
Mm-hmm.
to put it on a truck and ship it. They'd have to push buttons that say start, stop, go faster, go slower. They'd have to optimize the automation line. So it's a bit of a software play, a bit of a hardware play. Nox will always have humans. It'll
Yeah.
never not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
100%. And like, I think this question is really important for me, at least. Like, how do you see Nox fitting into the future of like national manufacturing independence?
Yeah, I think like the way I see Nox fitting in is like the metals service industry, $300 billion worth of metals gets processed through this each year. You basically need a modern supplier or a modern service center to process it really effectively. So one of our investors said this, well, like Nox Metals is a proxy bet in all of manufacturing. If you're like bullish on American manufacturing doing well, you actually need a really kick-ass metal supplier that can
Yeah.
deliver cheap, fast metals to every factory. Yeah, I see us being like extremely important to reindustrialization. Think about it this way. Think of it as a CNC company, off the top of your head. I don't name any, but if they make 1 million parts a year, they're buying material. If they can buy that material for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40% cheaper, it makes a huge difference to them. Yeah, and like the thing I'll wrap up on that point would be like China subsidizes their materials, or apparently does, and what Nox Metals does is use technology to make materials cheaper. So getting close as possible
I see. Yeah.
to competing with a Chinese manufacturer.
And what would be your startup request that you see but others don't in manufacturing space?
I have a few. I think there needs to be like a shipping carrier that's like specific for manufacturers.
Okay.
If I could outsource completely all my shipping,
Mm-hmm.
I would. But like there's just not a good carrier built to do like heavy loads,
Oh yeah.
or stuff like that. Two would be like automated compliance. So if I want to keep my AS 9001 up to spec, I want to be able to do that, or you name it. Otherwise, I think there's always room for like an American machine manufacturer. I don't think that's a hot take with lower lead times. I think there should be a new mill.
No, no.
I think someone should take that on. But yeah, those would be my four.
I see. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen, like, there's one company called Cartage AI. Like, they are doing agentic logistics. That's what I classify them with. But I see what they're doing. I think they can help as well. Like, I think we need to see something like that in logistics more. I don't know if you've seen the new Happy Robot demo, but it was crazy.
What was it?
And they actually like, you're on a factory floor and the guy just calls that, he needs an actuator. But what happens is that goes through an agent. An agent calls different suppliers, different logistic companies, and it goes through all like voice calls, like not an email. And then it just finds you what is best and it gives you like actuator. But it was really crazy. I really
Very cool.
suggest you check
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that's awesome.
And like, for example, like when you fully hits like full scale, and what does Nox enabled factory looks like totally?
What does Nox look like, or what does
Yeah, like
American manufacturing look
when you
like?
guys fully scale and when we say like we're getting into like Nox enabled factory, how would it look like? What's the full process like?
Yeah, I think it'd be like heavy automation, probably 90% automated,
Hmm.
probably just as many software engineers as factory ops people. And I think it looks like supplying every factory in America as close to that as possible at always the cheapest price and always the fastest speed. I think it looks like 10 mega factories over the US.
Hmm.
So we can kind of like almost bare identicals of each other. But yeah, I see it's just to wrap up that point, just like I see us solving a lot of like a lot of the overhead and the throughput. That's really what it comes down to.
I see. Like, would you say it like it'll be more like Hadrian, but for metal supplies? Would that be right analogy?
That's a good way to put it, I think. Yeah, sure.
I see. All right, perfect. And like, if you had to bet, will Nox be remembered as a metal company or a software company?
Oh, that's a good question. I think a metal company, I think you'll see a lot of new manufacturers that are technology companies.
Hmm.
Nox will be seen as a metal company. Like you see behind me, it's Nox Metals, not Nox
Yeah.
Software. But I think it's a really good question. I think like I don't know. I think about here's a good example. I think about a factory I know, Proto Labs, and I don't see them as a software company. I see them as a machining company that
I see.
leverages software.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Maybe hybrid. We can say it.
yeah.
Like, what is the current weak link in North American manufacturing nobody's talking about right now?
Weak link in North American manufacturing.
Like, for example, we see like Chinese shipbuilding is almost,
But
I don't know,
yeah,
100x of US. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'd say just domestic steel production, domestic aluminum production. We really just need to increase raw capacity. I'd say there's too many people working on software for manufacturing, and we just need more factories. Like, don't get me wrong, like, software for manufacturing should exist. We should sell horizontal products into factories, but for every one software company, there should be 20 factory companies. It's actually the opposite way around.
Oh, I see it.
So I'd say that's what maybe people on the internet need to like realize.
Hmm.
Yeah, if there's one thing to drive home, it's just raw production capacity in every sense. That's like what I'm obsessed with.
I see. Yeah. And like, do you see Nox as a counter of like Chinese dominance, or is it just a better local model?
Good question too. A bit of both. If China is a growing threat, we need to be able to manufacture things here cheaper, more efficiently, and faster. So there's a good argument there. If it is like a local play, I think there's a good argument for that too. Like rebuild communities, make manufacturing good again, be able to make things here again, more jobs, not offshore everything. So mix of both.
And also, I want to get into like, I don't know what is the capacity of like natural resources of US in terms of like aluminum, like steel. Would it be enough to self-sustain at least?
Sorry, wait, say that again.
So I was thinking like, for example, the steel, steel resources of US, like aluminum resources of US, is it enough to self-sustain, or does it still have to export, import, and like sustain itself?
I think they'll always need to either export or import stuff. So like my answer would be no. I don't think it's like required, but I like to be completely fair, I don't know too much about like mills and that
Hmm.
sort of thing. What we're focused on is like making the most efficient metal
Right.
processing factory in America. But I think it's really interesting. I would love to learn more.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael on from Bethlehem, he would know.
Yeah. And what does industrial independence mean to you? Like, and how do we get there?
Industrial dependence or independent?
Industrial independence. Yeah.
Oh, I'll say the same thing that I said earlier, just raw production capacity. We can make things. We're not relying on other countries. Are being able to produce things cheaper and as fast as other countries. So I think that's kind of what it comes down to: is the price right, is the speed right? And I think you achieve that through technology.
I see. Oh, yeah. And like, lastly, I want to get into a question. Last question is like, do you see enough founders in manufacturing space, like for startups, for innovation? Do you see, is it currently enough, or do we still need more?
Definitely not enough. I think most people know that. I think the better question is like, why are they not here? And like, because I think it's kind of like obvious that like there's not enough manufacturing founders, but like I think there's not enough people that have been incentivized to work in factories, and like I think that's the problem. So we need to get more exposure to people. Like honestly, like that's why I'm such a big fan of Hadrian and Atomic and Forge and all these industrial companies, because you're getting young people working in factories again. I think that's why I'm such a fan of SpaceX and Anduril. Basically, how do you get young people in factories really smart that like see a problem in a factory and say, I'm going to go solve it elsewhere? Yeah, to answer your question again, like definitely not enough. There should be 100 times more, if not 1,000. And I think the way we get there is by leading the charge, making successful companies, hiring well, and hopefully these people will either stay with us forever or go start something awesome.
Right.
So yeah,
So you say that, we need to inspire them in order to bring more people in.
yeah, enough inspire. We definitely need to inspire. What I think is more effective is pay them well, give them high value, like hire patriots, that can go get on the mission themselves. Because like I just think this I don't even know the right word sample size, the number of people that have exposure to manufacturing and have exposure to technology is like really small. If you have that Venn diagram, it's like really small, the middle. We basically need to increase that. So yeah, there's lots of ways to do it, but yeah, basically how do we, actually I think there's a good argument for tariffs there. Like if tariffs help American manufacturing, more people are in it, you can pay people higher wages, you can hire more people. We see more people in manufacturing and we just stop outsourcing.
Sounds good. And I want to wrap it up and like, thank you for joining, Zane. Before we go, what would be one of your message to our listeners? What would you say?
Good question. I would say go visit your local factory if you haven't. Learn about manufacturing, get on a mission that's like important to this country, and maybe look into some of the reindustrialize articles that are out there. And also want to say thank you to you for having me on. It was a blast. Questions were great, and wish you the best of luck here. I think this podcast is also inspiring for people, and like I think this podcast is how you get people back in manufacturing. I think this is a big deal. So, love it.
Thank you very much, Zane. And guys, definitely go and follow Zane. He got the best X page that I ever seen, and
Thanks.
that really helps out. All right.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thank you. See you.